Welcome to the Love You Deserve podcast, the podcast for professional women who are ready to attract healthy love without settling, shrinking, or second guessing yourself. I'm your host, Coach Yolanda. Let's get into today's episode. Today, we're going to talk about letting go of the fantasy and choosing reality. So, have you ever dated someone that had potential and later found out that that was all they had was potential? I can relate to that. Here's my story. My first husband, yes, he he was very charismatic, very much the life of the party, very much if you had a party, you wanted him to be there. He had the gift of gab and just very warm and very attentive. Um yeah, and if you were like me, um I loved attention and he gave plenty of that. But what he wasn't giving was the issue. He wasn't giving much financially, and he wasn't giving much stability, and he wasn't giving much fidelity. But life of the party, fun to be around. Oh, yeah, he was definitely that. And so, my dating personality, I later found out, I didn't know then, I'm a hopeless romantic. And so the challenge with being a hopeless romantic is that you only see the good, you never see the bad. And so if there are red flags, the hopeless romantic tends to say, "Oh, it'll work out. Oh yeah, that's not a problem because together we can do anything. We can accomplish anything as long as we're together." So that's that hopeless romantic in me. The hallmark watching me. Love a happy ending. But he had plenty of potential. And I think if I'm honest with myself now that I look back over 20 years ago, I can say that I fell in love with his potential. I can say I fell in love with a man he could have been. And what I needed was the man he could have been. And I married him knowing he wasn't that yet, but willing to put in the work to help him be who he had the potential to be. And I know now on this side, the fact that you even think that I can mold him into what I need is someone who's broken to think that way. That I'm going to get in a relationship with somebody that can't even give me what I need now, but I'm going to get in a relationship with them now and even marry them and convince myself, because I want to get married so bad, convince myself that by some magic, he was going to become the husband that I needed. It sounds so crazy when I say it out loud now, but when I tell you when I was in it, it felt like it was really going to happen. And when I tell you, people around me was like, don't do it, don't do it. And I didn't listen because I wanted to be married so bad. And I don't know if anybody out there can relate to that desire, that desperation, that I want to get married so bad that I'm willing to throw caution to the wind and overlook some things that I would normally overlook because I want to walk down that aisle. Can anybody relate to me? I'm tired of being a bridesmaid to be the bride. Okay? Yeah, I was tired. I was 28 when I got married the first time. And so in my mind, on my timetable, I was behind schedule because I was supposed to be married at 18. I was supposed to marry my high school sweetheart and we lived happily ever after, but that didn't happen. And so I'm like, okay, so I need to marry the next one that come along, but not if he ain't right. but I did because what I say, hurt people, hurt people, and hurt people marry hurt people sometimes. That was our case. Neither one of us was emotionally whole, and we married each other and we hurt each other. And so we want to talk about fantasy today, letting go of that fantasy. Stop picking potential and choose the reality. Choose the situation that you're in. Look at it for what it really is. Why? Because you can't date someone's potential. Why? Why I can't do that, Coach Yolanda? You can't date somebody's potential. You can't because potential is something that's out in the future. It's what they could be. It is not reality. It's an illusion. It's what you made up in your mind. Like, I don't know if you guys can relate, but when I was a little girl, Cinderella was the movie. It was every little girl wanted to be Cinderella. Every little girl was waiting for her Prince Charming to come and sweep her off her feet. And so with the big fluffy dress and all of this, picturing that as a little girl. When I get married, I'm right, okay. Eat fantasy. Fantasy. And dating somebody's potential is a fantasy because you have no guarantee that that person even wants to be what you think they could be or have the skill set to get there or the desire to get there, period. And more than likely, if you're dating someone who has potential and you fall in love with that potential, take it from me, you're going to be in for heartbreak. Fantasies blind you to red flags, and we're going to talk about red flags next week. But what fantasies do is they blind you to the red flags. See, I was so wrapped up in what he could be if he just had the support of a good woman like me. He could be this guy. He could be faithful if he could keep a job if he just had somebody to buy him a car. Really? Fantasies blind you to red flags. They blind you to the inconsistencies in their stories. It blinds you to the inconsistencies in their life. And it causes you to be blind to the fact that this person can't even meet your needs. Can't even meet your needs. Cannot. The potential that they have could meet your needs, but they're not there yet. Fantasy is dangerous. It happens so often. The antidote for fantasy is reality. Sometimes we don't want reality. because reality hurts. We don't want reality. Reality hurts. We want to live in the fantasy. But we need some reality, especially if you are a hopeless romantic like Coach Yolanda. You need some reality. You need some girlfriends around you to say, yeah, he fine, but he work at McDonald's and has no intention of doing anything else. I ain't knocking McDonald's. But if you want to marry him and you want him to be the breadwinner for the family, working at the counter at McDonald's is not going to pay for the kind of condo and house you want to live in, Miss Professional Woman. And yes, he has the potential to move up to be manager. He has the potential to own his own franchise. But is that your goal or is that his goal? Because you can't push your goal on him. It has to be his idea. And if you're marrying the goals of somebody who's not that serious, you're going to be in for heartbreak. Let me give you an example. Think about Barack and Michelle Obama, right? When Barack met Michelle, he was working at the law firm she was already at. So Michelle already had her lawyer license. She already had money, right? When Obama asked her out and took her out on that first date and he was in that little beat up yellow car with the hole in the floor, she did not say, I can't go out with him anymore because he got this little raggedy car. She saw his potential, but he had a law degree, he had passed the bar, and he had a job. Now he was saving money to do stuff, maybe cash free, but it wasn't like he was on the corner selling drugs and trying to holler at her. He had a career. And so don't hear what I'm not saying. Obama didn't have a whole lot of money when he met Michelle, but he wanted more for his life. And that wasn't where she met him, was not going to be where he stayed. And I'm sure she had conversations with him. What do you see yourself 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? And he probably said to her, I want to be the president of the United States. And she probably laughed. But he did it because it was something he wanted to do. It wasn't just potential, he actually had goals. And that's what I'm saying. What is the reality of the guy you're dating? Don't get so caught up in what he could be. Get caught up in what's his goals and what is he doing to make the goals come to pass. What is he doing? He says, I want to, I'm living with my mom right now. I'm saving money because I want to buy a house. Okay, great. Well, how long have you been saving? If he say 10 years and you ask him, well, how much have you saved? And he say $5,000, he not serious about leaving his mama's house. He's enjoying not having to pay bills and he blowing his money. You see what I'm saying? So he might have the potential to save money and get his own place, but he don't have the self motivation. He don't have the ambition. He don't have the goals. He don't have the fire. He don't have to push on his own. And so it's that fire, it's that push, that ambition that makes potential a reality. And certain men, you can't give him that. That has to be something he wants for himself. Back to my first husband. Now he was young, very young when we got married. And so younger men have to find themselves. So he was in this I'm finding myself stage. When you're finding yourself, it's not the time to get married. I need a man who has already found himself. Okay? That's neither here nor there. But I wanted for him something he didn't want for himself. And so that's why it didn't work for us. He would get a job, work 2 weeks, get a paycheck, quit, get another job, work 2 weeks, get a paycheck, quit. See a pattern? He would get a job, work 2 weeks, get a paycheck, then quit. Why? Because he didn't want it. He was going to work because I was asking him to go to work. He wasn't going to work because he wanted to go to work. You can't fall in love with potential. Let go of the idea. Let go of the hope that he will become what you imagine in your mind and honor who he really is. And ask yourself this question. He has the potential to be this, but if he never ever becomes what I imagine in my mind, can I be happy with who he really is today? Can I be happy with who he is today? Now, that's the question. That's the question. Can I be happy with who he is today? If the answer is no, he's not the one. He's not the exclusive one. Now, you might date, you might go out, you might kick it. That's different. But we're talking about moving to being exclusive with this guy, and he's not even what you want. No. Mm-mm. Not for the sake of having a man. No. Not exclusive. You don't take yourself off the market for somebody who's not even what you want. No, ma'am. We can't. We can't do that because we are falling in love again with a fantasy of what we hope he would be. And we don't see this red flag right here saying, he's not even what I want. He can't even supply my basic needs. If I don't have the mortgage, I can't depend on him to pay it. I can't. He at the counter at McDonald's. Yeah, he look like Mars Chestnut. Yeah, he fine like The Rock. But he worked at McDonald's and he take orders at the front lobby. And yeah, he bring home McDonald's every night, but where we going? What's the plan? Where you see yourself in a year? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? In 5 years, do you still see yourself behind the counter at McDonald's? Not the manager, not owning a franchise, not owning a chain of franchises, but still behind that counter, then he just wants to hook up with somebody who has money. He is not trying to make money. He wants to be a bill. He doesn't want to help you pay them. And we have to, as professional women, we have to be clear on what we want, ignore the fantasy, and choose reality. Here is your journal prompt. Where have I stayed in a fantasy rather than looking at the facts? Think about a past relationship. Maybe think about your current relationship. Where have you been in a fantasy? And the reality is that he is not what you need. Where have you stayed in a fantasy rather than facing the facts that he's just not what you need? Here is your affirmation for the week. I choose clarity over illusion. I choose clarity over my fantasy. I choose clarity. Yeah, I imagine if he goes to the gym and start working out that he may have a body like Rock, but in reality, he may not. Am I okay with that? Can I live with a man who doesn't have a body like The Rock? Of course you can. But can you live with a man who won't work? Not can't work. Don't hear what I'm saying. I'm not saying he can't work because he's disabled, because he was in a car accident and now he is disabled and can't work. That's different. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about healthy and won't go to work because he has been in a relationship with women who have had money, professional women like us. He's been in relationships with us so long that now he's used to being taken care of. So he has no fire to go out and make it for himself. That's the kind of man we need to avoid. Because we want somebody who's going to bring to the relationship, not somebody who's going to only take. A taker is a red flag. And we're going to talk more about red flags next week. Your affirmation is, remember, I choose clarity over fantasy and I trust what I see. Did you hear what I just said? Not only do you choose clarity over a fantasy, but you trust what you see. You see it and you trust that it's true. Here is your exercise for the week. Look back over your 3 past dating experiences. Where did you fall for potential? And what lessons did you learn from it? Where did you fall for potential? And what did you learn from it? I fell for potential because I fell for the lie that says a man is better than having no man. Even if that man don't work, lies, lies. No. Even if that man's unfaithful, and I know it, lies. My peace is more important than having a man in my bed. But if you're not holding your emotions, you won't even be able to see it. You won't even be able to say that. You will be like, well, maybe that's what I deserve. Because, having a man's better than having nobody. Mm-mm. Nope, nope, nope. Because we're holding our emotions. And because we're holding our emotions, we make good choices when it comes to men. We learn our lessons and we don't repeat the same mistakes. Hey, so if you want to know more about fantasy and reality, there is a book that was turned into a movie called Act Like a Woman, Think Like a Man. Remember that? I love that movie. The book is better, so you can watch the movie or get the book. Um, the movie did a really good job. If you watch the movie Taraji and the cute guy with the cat eyes, that's the couple I want you to focus on. She met a man who had potential, but he had potential the right way. He wanted to do for himself. His own ambition was the fire that pushed him. He wasn't doing it to get her. He was doing it without her. And that's what you want. You want a man who may not be where you are, but he has the drive and the ambition to be more, whether you're in his life or not. That's the man you want. That's what Michelle saw in Barack when he had that little yellow raggedy car. She saw he had the drive to be more, to do more. He had goals and a plan to accomplish those goals. And that's what she saw in him. And that's why she gave him the time of day. And that's why she married him. And he became the first Black President of the United States of America. Hey, that's my best shot. Thanks for joining me on the Love You Deserve podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, share it. If you're on IG, follow me at Coach_Yolanda B. If you're on YouTube, check out at Coach Yolanda B for the video version of this podcast. If you would like more information or free gifts, hop over to my website at yolandabethea.com. Go on the blog and you will see some free resources that you can use to help you in your relationships. And remember, the love you deserve, my sister, is never, ever, ever too much to ask for. See you next time.